Believe Nation, happy Wednesday. Wednesday's my project day, so doing a lot of work on my YouTube channel. So 1 day per month on YouTube channels, 1 day per month on YouTube Growth Bootcamp, 1 day per month on Built to Serve. And so I like having 1 day every week where I can just work on whatever project I want to work on, to just totally open things up, get into my creative zone. And so that's what today is all about. But I'm taking a break to talk with you guys, to try to bring value, try to share some love and help entrepreneurs. So let's go. You got questions? I see KYB Plan here. KYB Plans in the house. Let's see how I can help. KYB Plans, waiting on KYB Plans. Connecting. It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. There she is.
There it is. I was like, can you even see me out there now? So, I am not technically savvy.
That's
if
okay.
it's not documented, I don't understand it. So
you made it. You made it happen.
I made it happen. It's
listen,
miracle.
I see some nice looking books behind you there.
Yeah.
Snap. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I started with Built to Serve, and I'm like 3/4 through it. I keep stopping and rereading it. I got kind of stuck in the why portion, as you can imagine. And then I went and ordered Your One Word. I also ordered 3-point landing questions. Went way back. Yeah, well, that's how I kind of got set up with you. Is I had moved out of state, away from my family and stuff, and I really wasn't into YouTube or anything else. And I was listening to some music. Someone taught me how to listen to music on YouTube, and one of your commercials came on. I started watching one of your 3-point landing stuff, and I was like top 10. I don't remember who the first one was I started, but I have like literally like 400 of them on my YouTube now.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, yeah, I've saved over 400 of them at least.
It's been a journey.
So, I would say at least 90% of them I've watched. I'm not going to say I've watched all of them, but I've watched like 90%, which got me kind of interested in you and everything, and it helped me a lot when I first moved. So it's been good. It kind of kept me motivated because I was in a strange city by myself, no family, no real friends. Yeah, so kept me motivated to keep going every day. So
cool.
Here we are.
Here we are. So how can I help? What do you got?
Okay, so I'm switching gears. I've always had this little side hustle. It's never been like a major part of my life. Now, and it was slowly starting to build into something. Okay. I was doing it more traditionally. I was more networking and, making contacts and things like that. Just so you know, I write business plans on the side. Okay. I've always been like, I'm a paper pusher. I've always been a business manager stuff, which is kind of funny because my personality is more creative. but my go-to is I can organize anything when it comes to documents. Okay. And yeah.
But that requires a lot of creativity.
Yeah, and I think that's why I have such a diverse background, because people are like, I mean, sometimes they're like, I don't know if I want her. She's not worked in the field, but she's worked in like 8 different fields. I mean, I have a paralegal degree, and then I've worked in marketing, I've worked in finance, I've worked in the health field, worked with nonprofits. I've also worked with senior executives, and I've been a business manager for a couple decades now, maybe more. I want to count my age, but old enough. And I actually did business planning a few years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, for about 3 or 4 years. Had a relationship did not go well. Went to Vegas, of all places. It was Atlanta. We're gonna move to Vegas, and I'm like, no. But I had kids and that relationship stuff, and I said, well, we can either still move, or we can stay here and try and just keep our lives going the way they're supposed to go. It already set up to move. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. And we went, and it was awful. It was absolutely awful. But I made it work. My kids are fantastic. They're very, adaptable. They kind of like go with the punches. And I literally lost my job after 2 months. And so now I'm in another city with 3 kids.
So you're in Vegas now?
No.
Okay.
No, I moved out a lot in the last 10 years. I'm actually in Massachusetts. I'm back in my hometown. I became grandma. Nobody. Just only how many people are listening know now. Whereas my southern, I'm a grandma, more glam than grand. And I came here because my kids started having kids. So I said, hey, let me go check on my grandbabies. I'm in between assignments because I used to do freelance work at the University in South Carolina, and my heart sucked. So I put all my stuff in storage, and I said, I'll spend, so like maybe late January, my kids' babies in November and December. And I said, and then when the semester starts up again, I'll take another assignment back down south. Well, I got a job over here, which was great, but then COVID kicked in, that killed that. And so then I kept saying, well, what am I going to do? I don't want to be still unemployment for the rest of my life kind of person. And like I said, I always had this little business I set up. I had the website, but it wasn't my main source of income. It was kind of like, I'm going to do this. I used to do all the time, lived in Vegas. It was like, that was a job. I worked for grant writing companies, and that's what I did. I was a business plan writer for like all day, every day, 6 days a week, 14, 15-hour days, for like 3 years.
And who were you writing business plans for then?
I had a couple of companies that I would be independent contractor for them. There were a lot of them that kind of closed down because they weren't doing things exactly the way they're supposed to.
Okay.
And I was happy that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was left out that the companies that I was with were actually legit, but yeah, and they had like a lot of them when I was there. It was like, I think 30 or 40 companies that did grant writing, and like 20 of them were gone within 2 months after I started doing this. And I was like, yay, my company here. We're doing it right. Yay, the feds came and cared. But my job was to do business plan, and I love my job. I loved helping people. It was kind of weird because, you speak to other people all over the world, or all over the United States at least. And, some of them are, big name corporations, some of them mom and pop shops, some of them are farms. And you get to know them, you get to kind of figure out what they need. For me, it's like I was one of the senior business plan writers. I pretty much went this quickly because one, I didn't just do your basic cookie cutter, stick their name in, this is their service, blah, blah. You could give me 3 farms, and I guarantee you would never see the same information twice. Because I sat there and I talked and I got their information and I kind of
yeah, you cared.
Out. I care. Yeah, I want to make sure that they are actually putting out there is on that paperwork. I want the person who looks at it and say, oh, I know what they do. They're okay. This farm is a dairy farm, but this farm does farming cows. There was difference for everything. So I wanted them to know that I cared about what they were presenting, no matter what they were doing.
And all kinds of industries?
All kinds of industries. I did everything from tech services to, I did, my funniest one was a couple who did artwork who lived in a nudist colony who kept asking me to come down and visit. I was just like, good. So, you need artwork? I don't need the picture.
And was it all for starting a new business, or was it ever for revamping an existing one or adding a new extension to a business or acquiring a company?
Everything. I've done everything, literally. I've had a lot of which were starting a business. Some of them had been around for like 20 years, you know, like mom and pop shops have been around for decades, and kind of in the place where I am right now, where they're just like doing the same thing all over now. Things are changing. They don't know how to handle it. And they've already even had a business plan. And now they're trying to get grant money. And I kind of felt bad. And one of the reasons I left the companies because people to me are like, well, I gave you the information for the business plan, but I haven't got my grant. And I'm like, well, my job is the business plan. I get that over to the grant person, and they focus on the grants. And after a while, I was realizing they weren't doing as much as they could be doing. They would give them information and say, oh, yeah, you know, step with us now and give us like thousands of your dollars, and, you know, and we'll get you this grant that's available right now, but not knowing that these people don't understand. It's going to take me about 2 weeks minimum to do your plan once I get your paperwork. Then it's going to take them another 2 to 3 weeks to do the grant application. And by that time, that grant's gone, you know, and the deadline has passed, and now they're upset, you know, and now we have to go find them another grant.
How much of your work was for making grants?
Mine was, I did nothing but business plans, but that was their job. That was the other, my job was to get the business plan together to give to the grant writer. So they couldn't do anything until that.
Business ended up, how much of the business was for entrepreneurs who were trying to then go get grants and do the business plan?
Everyone who came in was looking for a grant. That's what they were told when they first came on. I felt bad because I didn't feel like a lot of people were getting them. You know what I mean? I think I did an average of 25 to 30 plans in a month. Like I say, I'm doing 12-hour days, 14-hour days, you know, and I don't think maybe a tenth of those were getting the actual grant. But I did, yeah. And I kind of felt that, you know, and it's not that they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. I think it's just a matter of timing, and, you know, some people would like drag the feet, giving information, thinking, okay, well, I'll give this to you when I get to you, but there's deadlines that have to be put together. And I just, you know, and then I feel bad for like the small mom and pop shop who gave their last $4,000 or $5,000 to this company to get it done. And I was just like, I can't keep doing that. I can't. So, you know, and it was also Vegas, you know, so it's not my lifestyle. I'm a small person from a small college town. So I'm just, I'm not that, you know, even when I lived there, I didn't live on the strip. I never went, only went to strip to go to work, you know, so it wasn't my kind of a lifestyle. And so I just said, you know what, it's time to go home.
So the biggest thing to start thinking about is what is the niche that you're going to fill. So it's great that you have the ability to write plans for all sorts of industries, and you have a skill set and a creative way of thinking and enough pattern recognition because you've been doing this. It's not like you've only written 3 business plans, right? You've done it a whole bunch. So now it's figuring out who. One of the biggest challenges of people who need business plans is most of them don't have any money to actually pay you to do a business plan.
Exactly.
So it's finding the people who do, who one, have the budget, and 2, value professional advice and wisdom and guidance from someone who's been through it, right? So the 3 categories that I'm thinking, and I used to be in the venture capital business, so we saw a whole bunch of crappy business plans from people.
And I'm not gonna lie, there were a lot.
I hear you.
I who were those type who would give the crappy business plans. So I was just like, guys, come on, step it up, you know.
And look, this is my heart. This is my passion of helping pure startup entrepreneurs. But you also have to find a way to make money, because if you're doing it 8, 10, 12 hours a day, even whatever, 6 hours a day, it's still a lot. That if you're just doing it out of the goodness of your heart and you don't actually ever make money from it, that's going to be, you know, you need to be able to turn this into a business. So
that was my issue. When I came back and I started doing it again, like I said, a little side thing. And it was mostly because when I came back home, I was, I started working at some hospital. And, but I kept it because I was an independent contractor, so I still have the website, I still have the whatchamacallit. And people would ask me, what are you doing in Vegas? And I'm like, oh, well, business plans. So they're like, hey, you doing? And I'm like, I'll do one for you for like $200,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
like,
no, we gotta make you some money. Okay, so
right.
business plans happen in times of planning and transition.
Right.
So you're looking at who's trying to make that transition and who needs a roadmap and some structure to help them do it. And so the people who are willing to pay for it, one are people who are leaving corporate America, who have already made some money and want to start a business and want to do it right. So it's not the I've been broke my whole life, or it's not the I'm 18 years old just trying to start up and can't afford it. It's somebody who's already had a successful career, maybe wasn't the CEO of a company, but had success, made some money. A lot of corporate types are afraid to start a business. They have abilities, they have talents, they have the heart, they have the care, but they crave structure because they've worked in a corporation for so long. And your plan helps give them a structure that they can then follow to apply. So they're not totally on their own. And they value the structure, they value advice from professionals, and they have a budget.
Right.
So that would be my primary audience, is trying to target those people who want to leave corporate America and start their own business and don't want to do a franchise. Like, that's why people would go to a franchise, is because of the structure. You're given a structure to follow, but I'll help you create the structure instead of you having to open up a McDonald's. You can open up the business that you love, right? Because that's what, like, when you're buying a franchise, that's basically what you're buying. Second option are people who are, again, they've made some money, but don't necessarily. I'm thinking like athletes, for example, where they've made money. They want to be entrepreneurs. They don't know how to do it. They don't want to be Allen Iverson and go broke and have to, play soccer, whatever he was doing. They want to be the Magic Johnson who goes off and becomes a giant entrepreneur. But most athletes they never went to business school. They never tried to understand this. They just understand their craft, and they're great at their craft of sports. But then a lot of people end up broke afterwards. A lot of it because they don't have a good plan. They don't have anybody to trust, right? You could potentially be that person. And the third group I would say is people who are looking to expand. So they've already built a successful business, but they're looking to, how do I add this new division? How do I open up in Europe? How do I, like the next step? They've had success in one thing, and now they want to expand, and they value your potential feedback on how to do it. So I'd be looking at those three groups and targeting them, and whatever you feel the most connected to, whether it's corporate professionals who want to become entrepreneurs, or athletes who want to become entrepreneurs, or helping companies expand their current business into new divisions.
Okay. Well, I do have a tier type of levels set up. One is I have because I'm a sucker for a person who needs help. So I had set one for people who are just I just have a vision board. I just have an idea. I want to know what I needed. And so I had set up what they call a simple biz plan for a few $100s. And then I have my 3-year business plan and my 5-year business plan for someone who's been in business for, a while and who really has a major corporation with 25, 50 or more, hundreds of employees and, hitting millions of dollars. And my prices are, I would say, reasonable. Some people are looking oh my God, they're so expensive. But then I look at my competition, they're starting at $2,000, $3,000, and I'm yeah, I don't want to kill someone for something, but I want to also make money. I mean, right now my biggest problem is this whole technical, because before a lot of my clients I met from networking, and my networking was, at, Chamber of Commerce things or business development things, and people are like, oh yeah, definitely need to contact you, I need to teach, set up a class, business basics. I need you to, do this or the other thing. And like I said, I can, give me Excel spreadsheet, give me Quicken, give Word, give me any of that stuff, your person. Give me social media, and yeah, I am not that person. So I'm trying to get all into that aspect of it, and I mean, I had to hire her to do my editing, but I'm not her party person because she does it all the time, and I love her, and she's fantastic. But I need to kind of, like you said, get content out. There's people that even exist. There's not many of us who are on social media, and the word needs to get out there that, hey, what do we do? I'm more concerned about that aspect of it at this point, making that transition from the brick and mortar, even though I don't have a brick and mortar,
Who were your best, when you were doing networking at the Chamber of Commerce, who were your best referral sources? Who were the people? Like, what kind of profession were they in?
Urban League was big. They were a lot, they're very, very helpful. I mean, they actually were going to have me do business basic classes, but it was a lot of small businesses who just know what they didn't know. Yeah. And that that's kind of the people I really care about the most, because which also my paralegal degree kind of kicks in, because I'm like, hey, you need to talk to an attorney. Did you know that you need, like, some people have been doing businesses and storefronts or whatever and don't even have a business license, and they're just like, oh yeah, I'll just do that later. I'm just gonna go get an LLC or a corporation. I'm like, well, you don't need that. You need this. You need an LLC, but did you even sit at your town hall and do a business license? You didn't just throw a sign on, rent a, storefront, throw a sign up and thought, now I have a business.
So listen, unless you really want to be on social media, I don't think you have to for what you want to do. To build a full-time business, to turn your side hustle into a full-time business is totally doable without using social media. If you want to use social media and you want to get good at it, that's a different story. But if it's just a means to an end, you don't need to. What I would be looking at is, your heart is in small business, which is awesome. And I would be looking at, even when I do my stuff, I always give a percentage away for free of my courses, of my training, if I'm coming to speak at an event, there'll always be a couple people in a room that got in for free, just because my heart's still in it, and maybe they're homeless. Like, you wouldn't know that they're homeless, right? Like, the people who've showed up to my events who have let in for free, who are homeless, and you would never know that they were homeless, but they would, but like $40 or something would be too expensive to come into the room. But you can't make a living off of that, right? So you have a percentage, right? You take 10% of your clients and put that into the community service, charity, feel good kind of bucket, and then the rest have to be ideal clients who you're going after. Yeah, I would be targeting accountants and lawyers in your local area, and trying to get on a call with them. Like, this is how you're sending your time. Instead of being on social media, I'd be doing emailing to accountants and lawyers. Yeah,
I have a list. I've actually met a couple of commercial banks who they have a lot of problems with people coming in.
But that's what you want. You don't want the guys who don't have a business plan, who are looking for startup funding, who you want the people who have already invested into professionals, who value an accountant, who value a lawyer, right? Who've already paid them for stuff. Like, people who like hiring professionals, because you're the same. You're a professional at what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a professional. So somebody who doesn't have any money to hire an accountant or doesn't believe in hiring a lawyer and think that they're scumbags and useless and whatever, it's like, you don't want to work with them. There's going to be no budget. There's going to be a pain, right? So targeting corporate lawyers and targeting accountants who are in your city, and trying to get to know them now. Their businesses are down too. Sending emails, whether it's meeting up for a social distancing coffee, or hopping on a call to have a conversation. And it's two ways. Like, hey, here's what I do, and I'm always looking for expanding my network. And I used to do networking at the Chamber of Commerce, and obviously that's closed now. And I'm always on the hunt looking for good lawyers and accountants as well. So if I have people that I can refer people, I want to know who to send them to. And I just wanted to get to know you, your story, and how we might be able to help each other. And because this is for the pandemic, I had a couple of banks who came to me, and they're like, I actually was talking to a woman who worked at a bank, and she said, our commercial lender is always complaining that these people come with these crappy business plans. If they had someone they could have just referred them to, that might have helped a few of them. They had a good idea, but they didn't know how to execute it because they didn't know how to put it together. But a lot of those people who are getting referred from the banks are not going to be your ideal clients. They're going to be people without a budget who are just getting started up and don't know how to do a business plan. And that could be a good charity case for your soul. But lawyers and accountants who already have clients are going to be. I know lawyers. What's that? I know lawyers. Well, like corporate lawyers, right? Corporate lawyers. My best friend works for a corporate attorney. All she does is corporate law. You need to start getting to know those. Like, you take your networking time that you were doing before, and now you apply it to outreach to lawyers and accountants that are within 30-mile radius of wherever you are right now, and you want them all. Boston area. What's that? Boston area. Yeah, I mean, you're in a big city. You're not. I'm in a big city. You're not in the middle of nowhere. I'm outside. Boston is huge. There's a big entrepreneurial culture. There's tons of lawyers, tons of accountants, and they should know you, right? And so you take your networking time that was working, and now you're applying it to phone calls and maybe coffee meetings or social distancing. I don't know what the rules are in Boston or the U.S. right now. But even if it's just a phone call to get to know people and say, here's what I write business plans for entrepreneurs looking to make a transition and raise money for their companies. I'm always trying to know who are the best lawyers and accountants and bookkeepers. We'll add them in the mix too. For the entrepreneurial community here in Boston, I'd love to hop on a 10 to 15 minute call just to understand what you do. I could talk a little bit what I do, and maybe there's a fit for us. And that's a much easier call than a client call, because you're doing a partnership. It's not just, hey, I'm here to sell you my services, right? And all you want to do is be top of mind with these people so that they don't write, no lawyer wants to write a business plan. No accountant wants to write a business plan. So you're making their life easier to be able to give you to their clients to say, you know what, I've got this client who's trying to expand into whatever, and they don't know how to do it. Let me pass you on. And then, I mean, you can only handle so many at a time too, right? Like, you can't be working 30 business plans at the same time. So that's where you don't need to be on social media to make this thing work. Like, social media is, I want to blow up my brand. I want to, like, if you wanted to write how to write a business plan and sell it for $7 to $27 to $99, like, that's a social media play. Scale. Like, I want to have 1 million people who buy my thing. For what you're doing, that is on the plan. I want a basic here. I mean, even there's a company called B Plan. They do that right now. And their templates. They suck. I they suck. And plus on top of that, they don't give you a person who's, their template doesn't give you all the information, gives you a smidget of it. And then we go to the bank like. Okay, so in the chat here we got Dr. Iman Hanif. who says, "Can we talk? I'm a dentist. I need some input." So maybe dentists are a potential model for you too.
There you go.
But no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what
I saw a couple people popping up, and I will look you guys up and get back to you. I saw people like, hey, I need some help. I'm like, all right, I'm here for you.
So I wouldn't worry about the tech unless you want to, unless it's fun for you to get into it and learn it. I think just old school networking, and instead of just now being more intentional with it. I think even a lot of the Chamber of Commerce stuff wasn't as helpful as it could have been, because you need to.
Oh, no. It was just getting to the right people at the right time, at that time.
Yeah, and you need to get out of the pure startup mindset. It's got to be people who have a budget, who can hire you and value professionals. And then you can always have a portion where you're giving back and helping people because it fills the soul. But you have to make money at your business, otherwise you don't have a business.
So true. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be a multi-billionaire. I'm just trying to, not yet,
Let's go. You got it.
But I'm not going to say that.
You built this up and you got your 5 kind of ongoing projects that you can work on at a time and not feel like massively stressed and overwhelmed, but it's definitely paying the bills. That gives you financial flexibility to then do whatever else you want. Like if you want to have a product, or if you want to do more community service, or if you want to spend more time with the grandbabies or the glam babies or whatever, like it gives you the freedom to do it. But step one is just going and making the connections. And the thing with lawyers, accountants, and bookkeepers is it's a constant source.
Oh yeah.
There's constantly new people coming. They have new clients all the time who could potentially be using your services. So once you're top of mind with them, one lawyer could recommend you 10 clients in a year.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
just you getting in front of the lawyers, accountants, bookkeepers. Like that's my homework for the next 30 days, talking to as many people in Boston, lawyers, accountants, bookkeepers. You're so lovable and so charming and so caring and so genuine. I think you'll just win them over. You just need to be in front of them and be on a call talking to them. Right.
Cool. Yeah, and that's I never thought about. I thought about it, but I don't think I took that approach on it, and I really kind of went to I think I was still concerned more about the small business person, which I still am. I still want to help those people.
Yeah.
I just don't think to the extent that people need, no offense, a lot of them don't understand why they need a business plan, and that is something that, in the not too distant future that I want to kind of hey, here's some information, and this will get you started. Start with these. I look at all these YouTube things and all these young, I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love these younger girls who are out on YouTube, and they're fantastic. Oh, this is what you need for a business. And I'm just seriously, you just got out of college 2 years ago, chick. And you're seeing a lot of little points. And
oh, we lost you. Anyway, okay, well, that's fine. Anyway, we got it down. Somebody's saying better audio. Yeah, well, that's fine. We had a little bit of connection issues, but somebody also said they like your cute giggle. Anyway, I think we got it. I think that's the plan. Bookkeepers, lawyers, accountants, and get on next 30 days. That's what you're doing. You're talking to them and building your business. And if you guys, anybody watching, want to go check her out, get in there, give her some love as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back on tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern. Pretty sure. Tomorrow's what? Thursday? Yeah, we're back on. Tomorrow it's 2 o'clock. Continue to believe. We'll see you then. Much love, everybody.